You're looking at one of Joe Namath's co-stars in one of his early movies, who's here for a visit. 13-7, Seattle leading Cleveland. Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at Cleveland Stadium as we look at some of the first half action. The Browns, Joe, establishing their ground game early. Kevin Mack taking it in from 1 yard out.
Yeah, the Seahawks had 3 good, clean shots at Mack that time, but poor tackling allowed him to get into the end zone. Here, McNeil just doesn't handle the punt, and the Seahawks get a big break. You know, I've learned over the years that the teams win the turnover battle usually come out ahead. This time Warner walks in around left end from the outside, and then we have the block kick, and this is the play that number 10, Mike Pagel, injures his shoulder. You'll see Pagel come in here to make the tackle and watch his right arm get caught underneath, and that's why he had to leave the game.
Here's the reverse with Largent fumbling.
Clay Matthews made the recovery, and that led to a field goal. Now Strock fumbles the snap from Rakoczy, and you know, when you don't work as often as you'd like with the first string center, you're going to have those problems.
Norm Johnson with 2 field goals in the first half, and the Seahawks lead 13-7. The Browns certainly concerned, Joe, about their quarterback situation. They lost Bernie Kosar in the opener. Gary Danielson broke his leg against the Jets. Pagel got hurt today. They're down to Don Strock, a guy who's certainly used to coming off the bench cold and being effective.
Yes, and if I were Marty Schottenheimer, I wouldn't feel too badly about having Don Strock in there. I've got a lot of confidence in him, and I know Schottenheimer does. Strock in his 15th year, I guess, as a smart quarterback. He's not going to get fooled by the defenses, and he'll go to the open receiver. The only problem Strock has, in my opinion, is his rustiness. He hasn't worked with these receivers. He doesn't know their timing. He can't anticipate their breaks, and so that's why he had that first incompletion. He threw the ball behind Slaughter just because he hasn't worked with them.
What is it that separates the outstanding backup quarterbacks like a Don Strock or an Earl Morrow from just your average backup?
Confidence. You've proven that you can get the job done. Strock has done that over the years with the Miami Dolphins. There's not a player in the NFL that doesn't believe Don Strock can lead any team.
And those 2 streaks we alluded to are still on the line. Steve Largent has caught a pass in 157 straight games. Ozzie Newsome 132, and neither has caught a pass in the first half.
That's right, and I'm curious to see if Largent is healthy this second half. The last time I saw him, he had injured his left leg.
All right, let's take a look at some of the first half statistics. Steve Largent getting loose on the sidelines.
Well, the Browns, of course, are rushing the football, but they're in the short end of the score, and that's what counts most. 18 minutes they've had the ball in the first half, and they've only gotten 7 points out of it. So you have to give the Seahawks defense credit for being able to hold them, and the turnovers. That's been the big problem for the Cleveland Browns so far. Anytime you let the other team have the ball, you're going to pay for it.
Well, the Browns have rushed for over 100 yards, but they're behind. And as we mentioned, when they've rushed for 90 or more yards this year, they've gone 3-0. Over the last 2 years, 10-0. And over the last 3 years, 18-0 when they've had 100 or more yards rushing in a game. So they've got the 100-plus yards, but they're behind 13-7 at halftime.
Well, we could talk about statistics all day long, and a lot of people do. Meantime, the only one that really counts is the final score, the win-loss column. 3 turnovers. Yeah, that's going to hurt you all right every time.
Marty Schottenheimer has spent a lot of extra practice time in recent weeks on his special teams. He felt in 85 and 86 they had the best special teams in football. He said, we're not quite back to that level yet, but we're making some improvement, but he's got to be awfully concerned today.
Oh, sure. Well, they have a lot of new people on their special teams. That's why they haven't been playing up to par. I saw that last stat there. The wide receivers of the Browns have only caught 1 pass so far. Now, that's not Cleveland Brown football, and you really haven't been getting excellent coverage by the Seahawks corners. The quarterbacks have been misfiring. Both Pagel and Strock have missed open receivers this first half.
So we're about ready to go with the second half from Cleveland Stadium. Matt Barr will be kicking off. There was a celebrity place kicker in the Browns camp on Friday. Comedian Martin Mull, who's from Ohio, said his boyhood dream was to grow up and become the Browns place kicker, so he showed up at camp and tried one. I think his range is about 15 yards. He hit one that barely cleared the crossbar, but Barr was giving him pointers. Bobby Joe Edmonds and Randall Morris awaiting the kick by Matt Barr. This is Edmonds on the short kick at the 10. Good coverage by the Browns as he's tackled inside the 20. Will Hill on the stop. Free agent out of Bishop College. Kelly Stauffer at quarterback. In the backfield with him, John L. Williams and Kurt Warner. Steve Largent will start the second half despite being shaken up in the first half, and he still needs a pass reception to keep that streak alive. Against the 49ers, he went down to the final 3 minutes and 45 seconds of the game without a reception before he finally made his only catch of the game to keep the streak going. Stauffer on first down gives to Kurt Warner. Warner out to the 25-yard line. Mike Johnson, 59 on the tackle for the Browns.
Kurt Warner's movement reminds me of Tony Dorsett, the great Gale Sayers. He's capable of making that quick cut to the outside when nothing's up front. He always has his balance underneath him. His position of his feet is excellent. One of the best running backs I've seen in a long time.
On 2nd and 5, Warner eludes a tackle in the backfield and now ridden down along the far sideline by David Grayson. Very quick linebacker. I'm sure you played against his dad, Dave Grayson Sr., an outstanding defensive back with the Raiders and Chiefs.
I played against Grayson's father many times, and he was a fine safety. I'm surprised that this is the first time today, I believe, that we're giving David Grayson a call on the defense.
Marty Schottenheimer says Grayson is the fastest linebacker he's ever coached or played against. 3rd down 5. Stauffer from the shotgun. Kelly, who's idle when he was growing up, with Joe Namath. Quite a thrill out of meeting you yesterday. Pass is tipped and intercepted. Paul Scant. Now they're going to say it's incomplete. Paul Scansey was the intended receiver, and Brian Washington apparently trapped it, just missing the interception.
Well, it was just another misfire by our quarterback. Stauffer had Scansey wide open. Let's see if he really does get hold of the ball. No, it's on the ground. Clearly not an interception, but Scansey was open, and once again the quarterback misfired.
Brian Washington, a rookie from Nebraska. On 4th down, Ruben Rodriguez will kick his 4th punt of the day. Rodriguez from Arizona, 5th-round pick last year. Gerald McNeil at the 30. Upended at the 36-yard line by Tony Woods. The Ice Cube has yet to break a big one. Browns will begin this drive from their 25. Seattle leading 13-7. Don Strock conferring with Marty Schottenheimer. The word on Mike Pagel is a separated shoulder. He'll be out at least 4 weeks. That's the 3rd quarterback to go down this year for the Browns.
Well, they told us that Kosar would not be ready for another 3 weeks. I wonder if this is going to speed his recovery. There's Bernie Kosar. He said Saturday he didn't have any pain in his arm, and he's throwing the ball quite well. So maybe he will move up his return.
First down at the 37-yard line. 37-year-old Don Strock at quarterback. Kevin Mack with both arms wrapped around the football takes it out to the 40. Darren Miller makes the stop, a rookie linebacker from Tennessee, number 91.
He made the stop, but meantime Mack kept going forward. He kind of ran over him a little bit to get the big gainer. Oh boy, those are impressive statistics for the ball carriers of the Browns.
Tim Manoa averaging 6 yards a carry. Mack has carried the ball 12 times. 2nd and 6. Mack the lone setback. Mack bounces outside. And upended by number 24, Melvin Jenkins. Mack and Biner in 1985 both rushed for better than 1,000 yards, only the 3rd duo to accomplish that feat in the same season. But we've got a penalty against the Browns. Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris did it for Miami in 1972, and Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier also rushed for better than 1,000 yards each for the Steelers in '76. But in recent years under Lindy Infante and with the growth of Bernie Kosar, they've gone to a more diversified attack.
Holding, number 81 offense, still 2nd down.
Derek Tennell, the tight end, guilty of holding.
Yes, at the top of your screen, you'll see 81 right there with his back to us. They're going to call him for holding. He clearly has hold of the jersey, and he just doesn't want to let go. He has that jersey, and the official said, no, you can't do that, Tennell.
So it'll be 2nd down and 16 at the Cleveland 31. Seattle leading 13-7 with 12:15 remaining in the third quarter. Strock's pass is complete to Ozzie Newsome, so he has extended his streak. He's now caught a pass in 133 consecutive games. Largent is still without a catch.
Ozzie Newsome, a great end out of the University of Alabama. It just gets better and better.
And both Newsome and Largent agree that they'll get bigger headlines when their streaks come to an end. In fact, Largent says it's almost become a negative now. He said, it's a reason to keep it going because I'm going to get more ink when the streak ends than I do whenever I make a catch. But I visited the Pro Football Hall of Fame last night in Canton, and there was a trophy, the world's largest trophy, almost 23 feet high, presented by Eagles owner Leonard Toews to Harold Carmichael, who had the original long streak. Sideline pattern complete to Brian Brennan for a first down. But both Newsome and Largent have eclipsed the mark set by Carmichael. But you got to see that trophy. It's 22 feet 10 inches tall, the world's largest trophy.
That's a big one. There's Brian Brennan, number 86, that just made the catch. I tell you what, that was the first third down conversion of the game, and Don Strock put that pass just where he needed to put it. An excellent throw by the veteran quarterback.
They like to throw to Brennan on third down. He's not a deep threat, but he runs precise pass routes, has very sure hands, possession type receiver, and he gives the Browns a first down at midfield. Seattle leading 13-7. Kevin Mack cutting back off a block by Tennell, the tight end, and fights his way to the 46, where Brian Bosworth makes the tackle. The Boz, who reportedly signed a 10-year, $11 million contract with the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow. I know, what was the linebacker's name that left the team and went to Indianapolis?
Freddie Young.
Freddie Young did not like that a little bit, and I can understand why. A man getting that kind of dollars playing on the inside of the defense where the big plays aren't made, you have to question that.
2nd and 7, Strock to throw. Downfield, almost picked off by Paul Moyer. Derek Tennell, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Moyer, who replaced Kenny Easley, strong safety, great all-pro for the Seahawks for years.
Strock has pretty good protection right there, but Jeff Bryant forced him to throw it a little early, and he threw it to the wrong spot. Tennell, number 81, certainly was open in the middle of the field, and you know, I'm not making excuses for Don Strock, but he hasn't worked with this offense very long, and I'm sure he's just not clear on where everyone is going to be exactly.
Passing down for Strock. Seahawks showing a blitz. Now they back off. Strock downfield, incomplete. Intended for Brian Brennan. And that will bring up 4th down.
Well, he went to the right place that time. Brennan had broken open, but the pass was overthrown. I tell you, there are no wind conditions today that are affecting the ball, the flight of the ball. And Pagel, Stouffer, and Strock, they've all been off with their accuracy.
Max Rudiger, who was signed late September, gets off this kick. Bobby Joe Edmonds will take it at the 11. And he's brought down at the 16-yard line. So with 9 minutes 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter, the Seattle Seahawks lead the Browns 13-7 in Cleveland.
When it comes to owner loyalty, every domestic and import car division takes a backseat to Ford. Because Ford owners in households all over America have proven their loyalty to Ford by buying another Ford.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? In a Ford. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Oktoberfest can be very boring, you know. Papa. Now, it's Coors Light Rocktoberfest. So 21 days of rock and roll, parties and Coors Light, the silver bullet, the beer that won't slow you down. Plus, there's posters of me and the guys at your store. October will never be boring again. Papa.
Now there's a football game with all the sound, all the action, the challenge of the real game. Introducing play-by-play talking football, the best game next to the real game.
A legend has been created. A better battery for the future. Better with more reserve power. Better with a warranty that lasts over 6 years. Better with a special $10 rebate available right now. The Legend from Napa. A better battery.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze, STP oil treatment, and new STP Supra Wear Control. And by Coors Light. There's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at Cleveland Stadium with 9 minutes 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Seattle leading the Browns 13-7. And the Seahawks began this drive from the 16-yard line. The pitch to Kurt Warner. Solid tackle by Felix Wright, the free safety.
Tackle made by Mike Johnson, Clay Matthews, and Felix Wright.
The Bengals leading the Jets 19-12. The Colts over the Bills 17-7. Green Bay leading New England 17-3. Doug Flutie starting today's game for the Patriots. Mark Rippon has thrown 2 touchdown passes and run for 1 for the Redskins, and they have a lead now. 2nd down 7. Warner following John L. Williams, fumbles the football, and Williams recovers it. But the loss back to the 15-yard line, a loss of 4 yards on the fumble.
Good reaction by John L. Williams to get on the ball. The Browns certainly would have liked to have had a better bounce. Warner's fighting for yardage, but he gets the ball knocked loose here. A pretty good hit. I didn't get the player's number, but now the ball runs away, and Williams is the first to get to it.
It was Mike Johnson who stripped the ball from Warner. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 10 situation as Warner leaves the game. 4 wide receivers, shotgun for Stauffer, and this big Cleveland crowd making a lot of noise. Stauffer to Paul Scansey for a first down at the 36-yard line. Clutch throw by the rookie.
Clutch throw, good pocket presence. We mentioned earlier, he stands in that pocket. He doesn't get nervous. He doesn't get the fast feet. Sets up well, and give that offensive line a lot of credit for Seattle for giving Stauffer this much time. Puts the ball right where he needs to Scansey.
Throws the ball like a baseball catcher, snaps it behind his ear.
Sure, he carries it high. He throws it from his ear area, and that's good because you don't have to wind up to get the ball. Less room for error.
And O'Brien is connected with Al Toon on an 11-yard touchdown pass. The Bengals and Jets are now tied 19 apiece. On first down, Stauffer off play action, going deep downfield for Blades, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Stephen Braggs. Browns breaking up that long pass intended for rookie Brian Blades.
Yeah, he broke it up, but I tell you what, look at this lead that Blades has on Braggs. The ball is underthrown once again. Stauffer, with work and practice, will have to start to get the ball out there earlier. You know, he could probably throw it farther, but if you release the ball earlier, he doesn't have to throw it farther. These receivers in the big leagues for the Seahawks are fast, and Stauffer must get used to them.
Kelly Stauffer has completed 4 of 10 passes for 62 yards on 2nd and 10. Looked like one of the Browns was offsides. John L. Williams tackled at the 39-yard line. It looked like Michael Dean Perry, the left defensive end, moved early.
And that drives a coach nuts. I mean, the ball, you watch the ball. You move when the ball moves. Defensive linemen, they're lined up right there. The ball's only a few yards away. You don't have to stare at it. You get it out of the corner of your eye, and you go on that movement, not on sound.
So Michael Dean Perry, the younger brother of William the Refrigerator Perry, offsides.
He even runs like the refrigerator. You know, he looks so much like his brother.
You'd think he'd have a nickname, maybe the mini fridge or the icebox or something, but he said, no, I want to be called Michael Dean. He broke his older brother's sack mark at Clemson University. He was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year last season. Second down, 5. Here comes Warner juking to the outside. Wrestled down at the 42 by Frank Minifield.
Well, that's really good penetration by Frank Minifield, the cornerback. You don't expect the corner to be in your backfield in that situation, and he got back there, broke up the blocking, and was able to shut down the run. Just a fine play by Minifield.
Two great cornerbacks, both Pro Bowlers, Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield. He began his career in the USFL with the Chicago Blitz. Third down, 5 at the 42. Paul Scansey is in as the Seahawks go to 4 wide receivers. Another penalty marker down. Stauffer's pass complete to Steve Largent. So if the reception stands, that will keep his streak alive. His first reception of the day, good for 9 yards. And that would give him a catch in 158 consecutive games.
Offside, number 78 defense. Penalty decline. First down.
Carl Hairston was offsides. The play stands, and so Largent's streak continues.
What a great player. He's breaking nearly every record that exists for receivers. I think the one he's going to have the most difficult breaking is the number of games where he has over 100 yards reception. He's 10 behind the great Don Maynard, who had 50 games of over 100 yards reception.
So he's now caught a pass in 158 consecutive games, a continuing NFL record. Kurt Warner on first down, nowhere to go, and he's dropped for a loss by Clay Matthews. Looks like a cat walking the fence looking for a place to jump off. And
there's Clay Matthews. Now, you know, he's been playing this game for 7-8 years. He's made a buck, you know, but this man is still driving his 73 Mercury Capri that his wife Leslie bought back in high school. I mean, the odd meter had 89,000 miles on it 4 years ago, and it stopped running. He's still driving that 73 car.
Following in your footsteps, he's an aspiring actor, taking acting lessons. Second down, 10. Largent is in motion. Stauffer to John L. Williams, one-on-one with Matthews, who wrestles him down. Matthews has taken on a lot more responsibility in the Browns' defense this year. They'll line him up different places, use him as a pass rusher sometimes. Other times he'll drop back in coverage. Had his best all-around year in his career last season.
He's already in his 11th year out of Southern California, and the man does it all on defense.
And Hanford Dixon has aggravated his hamstring injury. He's on the sidelines. Third down, 4 at the 43. Seattle leading 13-7. Stauffer's pass incomplete. Intended for Paul Scansey, but he was well covered by the nickelback Will Hill. And it'll bring up fourth down, the punting situation for the Seahawks.
Excellent coverage by Will Hill that time. There you see Mike Pagel. He has his right arm with some ice. Now you see Scansey right here in the screen with number 35 on him. He can't get rid of Will Hill. He's right there. Good coverage.
Will Hill, Thriller they call him.
Thriller?
Thriller.
Why? I guess
Will Hill. Rodriguez looking for placement on this kick as McNeil signals for a fair catch. Good coverage downfield as the kick is down by Melvin Jenkins inside the 5.
Sensational play by Jenkins.
And we'll return to Cleveland with the Seahawks leading the Browns 13-7.
A performance you won't forget. The new Ford Probe GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
If you think you can handle the big, bold taste of extra gold draft, hang on. This is the full tilt draft real beer drinkers have been thirsty for. And it looks like they aren't going to let go. Grab hold of an extra gold. It's the biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
A new cologne for men from Prince Machiavelli.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
The Bengals are off to their best start in over a decade, but there'll be no Tea Party in New England when they battle the Patriots.
Or the hard-nosed Oilers rekindle a bitter rivalry in Steel Town when they battle the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back in Cleveland. The Browns beginning this drive from the 3-yard line. Don Strock opening the second half at quarterback. Mike Pagel suffered a separated shoulder in the first half. Strock, a fifth-round pick of the Dolphins in 1973. Put in perspective, Bernie Kosar was 9 years old that year. Pass complete to Ernest Finer. That gets him out of the hole to the 11-yard line. Melvin Jenkins makes the stop. Gain of 9 yards on the play. The Jets and Bengals tied 19-all. Cincinnati 5-0 going into that game. The Jets, a surprisingly good team, and things really began to gel for them here with a victory over Cleveland. Green Bay leads New England 17-3. Bears blanking the Lions. Here in Cleveland, the Seahawks leading 13-7. Second down 1 at the 12. Kevin Mack. Needing only a yard for a first down. Ken Clark, the nose tackle, made the stop.
Mack appeared to get the first down. I'll tell you something, the play before this run-and play, the play action, oh boy, Cincinnati scored again on the Jets, 26-19. The play before this last play, Strock threw a play action pass. Now you don't try that in your own territory with just any backup quarterback. They've got a lot of confidence in Strock.
The Browns and Oilers tied for second place behind the Bengals. Looks like one of the Browns is shaken up. Looks like Sam Clancy. Pioneer breaks into the open field, and he's got a first down to the 26-yard line. Melvin Jenkins made the tackle, the left cornerback, but a gain of 12 for 5-year veteran Ernest Finer out of East Carolina.
Finer's got excellent speed for a big man, excellent agility. Here you see another huge hole opened by 73, Riccozzi, the center for Cleveland. And here you see Finer trying to put down some moves, but not quite getting the last move in. 5 rushes, 45 yards. If my math is correct, that's a 9-yard average.
And he's moved into sole possession of the 7th spot on the all-time Browns rushing list. First and 10 at the 25. Play action by Strock. Got a man open. Webster Slaughter has a first down at the 49. Gain of 22 yards. Patrick Hunter driving Slaughter out of bounds, but the Browns beginning to move offensively.
Strock sets up in that pocket nicely and puts the ball right on target. You wonder why the Miami Dolphins didn't keep Don Strock. Well, this man demands a pretty high salary, and the Dolphins were pretty pleased with Ron Jaworski down there at Miami as a backup, and that's what enabled Cleveland to get a hold of Strock.
First down at the 49. Seattle leading 13-7. A minute 46 left in the third quarter. Finer. For a couple of yards. Tony Woods made the stop. Woods doesn't get as much credit as Brian Bosworth, but he's an outstanding young linebacker. First-round pick out of Pitt last year. First-team All-American. Very fast.
Second down, 8 at the Seattle 49.
Second down, 8 at the 49. A minute 20 remaining, third quarter. Don Strock, who backed up Bob Greasy, Earl Morrill, David Woodley, and Dan Marino in his 14 years in Miami. Over the middle, complete to Ozzie Newsome. Newsome rumbles for a first down to the 24-yard line. A gain of 25, and Brian Bosworth made the tackle. You just sense, Joe, that Strock getting into the flow now, feeling a little more relaxed and beginning to complete his passes with regularity.
He's excellent. 82, Ozzie Newsome gets off the line of scrimmage, puts a little swing in, move down, wide open. Oh, good pass by Strock, missing M.L. Johnson, and then Ozzie just rumbles upfield for the first down. He's a hard man to bring down. Bosworth and Eugene Robinson made the tackle.
And the Browns with the first down at the 25. Strock going deep for 6. Intercepted in the end zone by Melvin Jenkins. So it's a touchback and another big Cleveland turnover.
All timing. He was all timing. Strock was late throwing the ball. He made a little pump fake. He's late. The receiver was open back there. Now throw it, and he just throws it a little late. Never gets it to him.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
I used to put in 5-6 hours of TV a day. Now I can't get near it. My parents always have it. You see, Stanley's giving away these home improvement videotapes when you buy a Stanley tool. So now they're doing a few projects in every room in the house. So what am I supposed to do now?
You can mow the lawn.
Clean your room.
Read a book.
Get a job.
Get a job, yeah.
Get a free home time video. Win a Chevy truck, a $20,000 home improvement, and $1,000 worth of Stanley tools in the Stanley Home Improvement Challenge.
What's so special about Wendy's new Bacon Swiss Burger? Bacon. Special sauce. Swiss cheese. More bacon. All on a toasted Kaiser bun. It's the only Bacon Swiss Burger with 3 strips of bacon. Ooh, doesn't that sound delicious? Wendy's new Bacon Swiss Burger. Come on in now and grab one while they're hot.
Enjoy the game.
It was a time when very few Americans had experienced the World Series.
You need a hand, Tony.
Until we televised our first. And though few will recall our role, Anthony Palermo will never forget the day the World Series came home.
Welcome home, Anthony.
Number 24, Melvin Jenkins, makes a nice interception. He wasn't fooled on the fake, kept his position on Langhorne, and made a great play for the Seahawks.
Strock's reaction, the 4th Cleveland turnover of the game. Seattle takes over. Here comes Kurt Warner on the cutback. Out to the 29-yard line. A gain of 9 yards on first down for Warner. Seahawks leading 13-7, and that will be the final play of the third quarter. So the Browns have been victimized by 4 turnovers, and that's been the story so far. At the end of the third quarter, the score is Seattle 13, Cleveland 7, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Disney Fever covers the globe. Catch the fever. The magical world of Disney premieres tonight on NBC.
Hi, I'm Joannie Suzu, Joe's twin sister, and I love these Isuzu Trooper 2s. They're roomy enough for all your wild Indians. Perfect for grocery shopping. And with their optional automatic transmission and more powerful engine, you can drive anywhere. The Isuzu Trooper 2, rugged yet so chic.
Act now and get a $750 factory cash rebate on any Trooper.
This is Betty Johnson.
Hi.
And this is her twin sister, Barb.
While they're identical, they have different phone needs, which is why they both have TeleChoice from U.S. West Communications. With TeleChoice, you can get the package you want from as many as 14 different phone services. Just call 1-800-242-5000. It's never been so easy or economical, whether you're Betty, Betty, or Barb. TeleChoice from U.S. West Communications.
In the beginning, flying was a real adventure. And on many airlines, it still is. But at Alaska Airlines, we go out of our way to make sure getting there is just as pleasant as being there.
The Politics of Abortion, Sunday at 5:30.
The Cleveland Browns have piled up 247 yards in total offense, but the 4 turnovers have killed them, Joe.
That's it. Anytime you give the ball to the other team, you're going to pay for it, and that's what's happened to the Browns.
Began the fourth quarter with Seattle leading 13-7. Kelly Stauffer on the give to John L. Williams. Out to the 32-yard line. Carl Hairston made the stop for the Browns. Big number 78 in his 13th year out of Maryland Eastern Shore. Ricky Wood scored on a 5-yard run. The Bengals have taken a 26-19 lead over the Jets. Colts leading Buffalo by 3. Jim Kelly has thrown 2 touchdown passes for the Bills in that game. The Rams blowing away Atlanta 33-0. Washington leading Dallas 28-10. And we've got an injured player down. Well, the Browns, Carl Hairston, is shaken up. He's a defensive captain and will return to Cleveland Stadium in just a moment.
You might expect a guy who flies a jet like this to drive a jet like this. The Mazda MX-6 GT. If you also expect it to fly through the wide open spaces, you're right. But you probably don't expect to find all this wide open space inside. I guess that makes it the one sports coupe which flies in the face of convention. The Mazda MX-6 GT. Sports coupe, the Mazda way.
Whether you work up a man-sized thirst or a man-sized thirst, nothing tackles it like Diet Coke. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
I'll flip you for it. Heads again.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We have to fly,
It's the kid.
and it shows.
Today's game is brought to you by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. By Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for $19.89. And by Diet Coke. Enjoy Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back in Cleveland with 14:42 remaining in the fourth quarter. All of the scoring took place in the first half. Kevin Mack, a 1-yard touchdown run to give the Browns the lead. Kurt Warner scored a 1-yard run. And then the first of 2 field goals by Norm Johnson put the Seahawks out front 10-7. His second field goal made it 13-7 and a scoreless third quarter. First down at the 32 for Seattle. Kelly Stauffer has thrown sparingly, 6 for 13 on the day. And completes it to Mike Tice, the big tight end. Joe, it would appear that Chuck Knox has not allowed Stauffer to get into any risky situations where he could possibly be intercepted. Most of his passes have been short, medium-range passes. As long as he's been able to keep that running game going, that'll work.
That's a major key with the young quarterback. I talked with the quarterback coach of Seattle, Kenny Meyer, and that's exactly what he told me they're going to try to do. Run the ball enough to get into yardage situations where it's not a sure passing situation. That way the defense can play with Stauffer's mind, maybe cause a mistake. They've been avoiding that so far. It's been a good offensive effort by the Seahawks.
Second down 4 to 38. Kurt Warner's rushed for 73 yards today, and he gets the call. Close to a first down. Eddie Johnson made the tackle for the Browns.
Here we see Warner getting the ball from Stauffer, and looks like well, it wasn't a bad handoff. It was pretty clean. We thought that he had bumped into him. You know, Kurt Warner bumped into Stauffer in that San Francisco game and hurt his nose quite badly.
We mentioned that Stauffer's idol when he was growing up was Joe Namath. Kind of interesting, the Seattle trainer Jim Weitzel named his son after you, Joe Willie Weitzel.
That's a great compliment. God bless him.
Stauffer off play action on first down, a screen pass to Warner. Got a couple of blockers in front of him, and he's got a first down at the 39 of Cleveland. Ball control essential now for Chuck Knox. Ground Knox.
Oh, ball control, but he knows he wants to get some more points up there. He's not comfortable with a 6-point lead. This is just a beautiful, well set up screen play. The timing is perfect, everything about it. A good catch by Warner and an excellent block right there. What a nice play.
This was actually Ground Chuck, not Ground Knox.
Ground Knox, Ground Chuck. We know who he is.
It's definitely not Air Knox.
There's Chuck. To Chuck Knox's right is the offensive coordinator, Steve Moore, and he's done a fine job calling these plays today. He's the one that basically does let Chuck know what they're going to run. That's Steve Moore right there with the headset on.
And the gentleman that Knox is left is Chick Harris, the running back coach, right there. First down at the 39. 12:50 left in the fourth quarter. It's 13-7 Seahawks. Warner tackled at the 36-yard line. Sam Clancy, Bob Golick, Carl Hairston all in on the tackle. Kurt Warner, who's had 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons, began the day third in the AFC in rushing, closing in another 100-yard game. He's had 20 of those in his career. His career almost ended in 1984 when he suffered a very severe knee injury that has come back. 2nd and 7. Williams in motion. Stauffer underneath to Warner. And another Seattle first down. The Seahawks are eating up a lot of time on this drive.
Certainly are. Stauffer did the right thing coming to Warner that time. He had some receivers downfield. He took a look, then came to his underneath man. He was wide open, and if you get the ball in Warner's hands without a defender close to him, he's going to make it a good gainer. There's Dave Craig. What a quarterback he is. He's been called hot and cold, you might say, Jekyll and Hyde. But boy, when he's on, there's not a better quarterback in the business than Dave Craig when Dave Craig is hot.
First down at the 24, 11:24 remaining, fourth quarter. Seattle driving with a 13-7 lead. Williams bounces outside and is down at the 6-yard line. Tackled by Felix Wright, but he almost took that into the end zone. 15-yard pickup for Big John L. Williams.
Well, the Cleveland Browns certainly have to be concerned here. He bounces outside nicely. Big Mike Tice, 86, the tight end for the Seahawks, blocked 2 people on that play that allowed John Williams to get outside.
Looked like he tried to make a cut down there on the side and lost his footing. But it'll be first and goal at the 8-yard line. Seattle leading 13-7. Consuming precious time on this drive. Williams and Warner from the eye. Warner bounced around like a pinball machine. Clay Matthews was the first man to hit him.
Well, what you want to do here, offensively speaking, is make sure you get 3 points. When I say make sure, you don't run any pass patterns or pass plays around the center of the field where that ball can get tipped up in the air and the defense can come up with the big play. You have a 6-point lead here. A field goal means that Cleveland must get 2 scores. So Seattle should continue to run the clock on the ground.
Brian Blades is wide to the left. Steve Largent wide to the right. Second down goal at the 6. Warner twisting and turning down inside the 5-yard line. One of the officials went down.
Tackle is made by Clay Matthews, Brian Washington. Hatfield's right.
The American League Championship Series, the Oakland A's trying to close out the Red Sox, leading 1-0 in the second inning.
Well, Boston started the game well last night, but Oakland has so much firepower. I mean, seems like anyone in that starting lineup can hit a home run.
Third and goal at the 2. Tommy Agee, number 33, is into the Seattle backfield. He lines up as a wingback. The pitch to Kurt Warner. Nothing doing. Great play by Eddie Johnson. Big Eddie, who lost his starting job to Mike Junkin. Junkin got hurt. He stepped in and played well last week against Pittsburgh and has regained his starting spot and has had a good game.
Certainly a big play for the Cleveland defense. A touchdown. It would have been hard-pressed to make the comeback on that one, but Johnson makes a good play. Now, if they can get in there to block this field goal, Cleveland would be in good shape. But check 51 out right there in the middle of your screen. Watch this pursuit. Boy, he's coming across that line of scrimmage. What's the speed? Did you see him turn on that speed?
Now a 22-yard field goal attempt by Norm Johnson, who's already hit 2 today. The snap appeared to be a little high, but he boots it through to give the Seahawks a little breathing room. With 8:55 remaining in the fourth quarter, it's Seattle 16 and Cleveland 7.
Your attention, please.
Quality, reliability, and durability sure don't come easy. They come from doing things the Mazda way. Is there really any other way? I think you should look at this new vehicle from Mazda. But if you really want to see what the new Mazda MPV is all about, you've got to drive it. Want another peek? I won't show it unless you promise to go drive it. Remember, you promised. A deal is a deal.
Traditional athletic shoes soak up the energy you put into your workout. The Reebok Energy Return System operates on a different principle. Instead of soaking up your energy, it returns it to you. And who couldn't use a little extra energy in their workout? The Reebok Energy Return System in running, walking, and aerobic shoes.
Check me out. All my plastic, gold. You know, I live in the city, but my clothes say Safari. My imported beer, ooh, the bigger the better, mate.
When you're done kidding around, Heineken.
For the man who enjoys the best of all worlds, Old Spice Liquid Stick, a new antiperspirant that combines the smoothness of a roll-on with the speed of a stick. Old Spice Liquid Stick, the world's most advanced form of protection.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
The Bengals are off to their best start in over a decade, but there'll be no tea party in New England when they battle the Patriots.
Or the hard-nosed Oilers rekindle a bitter rivalry in Steel Town when they battle the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
Norm Johnson's third field goal of the game has given the Seattle Seahawks a 16-7 lead over the Cleveland Browns with 8:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Glenn Young, 83, Herman Fontenot, 28, awaiting the kick. Young at the 2. Off the hit and is tackled at the 17. So again, the Browns are going to have poor field position. The Seahawks have done an excellent job in kick coverage today. Nesby Glasgow, the former Colt, 10-year veteran, down there to make the tackle. Only a 15-yard return for Glenn Young. 4 turnovers by the Browns.
So that tells the whole story. I mean, you give the other team the ball 4 different times, and you can't expect to have the lead. And Strock right now is going to be pressed to get the Browns on the board for 2 scores. They're going to need 2 touchdowns to take over the lead.
And Bernie Kosar will have company in the whirlpool. Gary Danielson has a broken leg. Mike Pagel separated his shoulder. He's out for 4 weeks. And Don Strock might be in there with him at the age of 37, playing the second half. Kozar said he's really going crazy on the sidelines. This is the first serious injury he's really had since he started playing football as a youngster. Strock's pass complete to Ernest Bynum. The gang tackling Seahawks bring him down at the 24. Brian Bosworth, the first man to get to him. A reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is a property of the National Football League, Cleveland Browns, and Seattle Seahawks. All rights reserved. 8:13 left, fourth quarter. Seattle leading 16-7. Second down 2 for the Browns. Are you a little concerned that Cleveland's not putting the ball in the air now with under 8 minutes left, down by 9 points?
No, Mel, there's still plenty of time with 7:50. They just need to get something on the board in this drive. Sure, throwing the ball is the best way to get it down there, at least the fastest way to get it down there, but Schottenheimer knows that he has some time left.
First down for the Browns at the Cleveland 30, 7.5 remaining. Tim Manoa, who ran well, although playing sparingly in the first half, is in there now, replacing Kevin Mack. Manoa averaged 6 yards a carry in the first half. Strock's pass complete to Webster Slider, upended after picking up the first down at the 45. Eugene Robinson on the tackle and a gain of 16 yards.
You know, what impressed me there is I'm guessing, but I have a pretty good idea that Strock called an audible here and came to this play. He hit the open man that time, Slaughter, just off the inside linebacker's coverage as he got out of the way. And if that was, in fact, an audible, Strock's going to be hard to stop as long as he doesn't put the ball in the wrong place, and he hasn't done that yet.
First down to 45. Both teams have all 3 timeouts left. Strock with a pump fake and completes it to Slaughter again. Breaking loose and picking up the first down at the 41-yard line. Patrick Hunter finally stopped him, but a good run by Slaughter after making the reception.
It appeared that Strock came off his first primary receiver, then got the ball to Slaughter, who did a fine job of getting inside, then back outside for a good gainer. Of course, Slaughter dropped his first 2 passes of the game, but it looks like he's overcome that. Well, this picture doesn't show us a lot, but here's the tail end of it. You see Slaughter get back outside and tack on some more yardage with fine running.
Slaughter, who's been playing with a pulled hamstring, picks up a first down at the 43, 6:28 left. Strock complete this time to Reggie Langhorne for a first down. Penalty marker down as Langhorne is tackled at the 31 by Darren Miller. Langhorne, who played at Elizabeth City State College, the same school that produced former Cowboy Jethro Pugh and Johnny Walton, strong-arm quarterback who once played for the Eagles. This one is against Cleveland. They can ill afford penalties at this stage of the game.
Pass interference, number 82 offense, still first down.
Offensive pass interference called on the tight end, Ozzie Newsome.
Well, I didn't see it. I can only guess that Ozzie got inside and got in the way of a linebacker or a defensive back and used his hands to free up another receiver. I don't know. That play, he was so far away from where the play actually took place over here on the sideline that I never saw Ozzie.
Time beginning to become a factor now with under 6 minutes left. Cleveland's got to get on the board. They're down by 9 points. They need 2 scores. From the shotgun on first down, it's Herman Fatno on the carry. He's tackled at the 44 by Eugene Robinson and Vernon Dean, the ex-Redskin. Bengals leading the Jets 26-19. Buffalo has taken the lead on a Jim Kelly touchdown pass, his 3rd of the game.
Hey, I'm a little surprised at that Green Bay New England score. New England's had a tough time of it, and Green Bay's playing better.
Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 14-13. Here in Cleveland, the Seahawks leading 16-7 with 5:09 left in the fourth quarter, and Don Strock facing a 2nd and 11. Strock with plenty of time. Penalty marker down as he hits Ernest Miner, breaks Bosworth's tackle. He has the first down carry, but there's another flag down. This one thrown in the Cleveland backfield. Paul Moyer finally made the tackle in a gain of 17, but let's see what the flag's all about.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 77 defense. Penalty declined. First down.
Penalty against Jeff Bryant, but the Browns will decline it and take the 17-yard gain and the first down.
Well, that was a surprise to the Seattle defense that time. They thought surely that would be holding from where the flag fell, but the defenders sometimes get their hands up in the offensive player's face, and they're not allowed to do that. We're down to 4:48 right now. Cleveland must get some kind of a score out of this drive to stay in the ball game.
And quickly. The way Seattle's been able to run the football, they may not be able to get the ball back for a second possession. 16-7 Seahawks, 4.5 remaining. Herman Fontenot and Tim Manoa are in the backfield. Strock's pass incomplete, intended for Webster Slaughter.
Good choice. He had Slaughter open, just threw the ball a little bit out in front of him. Doesn't waste any time on the clock, though, with that incompletion. Now, you have to remember, 3 points right here is not as good as 7 points, but 3 points will put them in a position to where if they score the touchdown later, they can take the lead.
You were a starting quarterback, of course, most of your career, but late in your career at times you were a backup. What's the key to being a successful backup quarterback?
Getting as much work as you can during the week, and you don't always get a lot of repetitions in practice, so you have a tendency to get rusty.
On second down, Strock completes it to Langhorne on a little out pattern at the 21. That stops the clock with 4:14 left. No, it doesn't stop the clock. He apparently didn't get out of bounds.
Well, that surprised me. It looked like the contact was made. I guess it was made inbounds, but Langhorne definitely was trying to get out of bounds. Melvin Jenkins made the hit, but the clock keeps ticking.
Browns have 3 timeouts left. Seahawks make some personnel changes defensively. There's a time remaining. Seattle leading 16-7. Browns are going to call a timeout, but they wasted a lot of time right there.
Oh, they certainly did. And these Brown fans aren't one bit happy about it. They're letting the referee know what happened, and they're not pleased at all. Well, we'll be back in just a few moments.
Gillette has changed the face of shaving. First, we made it closer. Then we made it smoother. Atra Plus. Its Lubra Smooth Strip actually releases lubricants to glide the razor more smoothly. Incredible smoothness from the first stroke to the last. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
You know, if I've discovered one thing from driving this new Mazda 929, it's this. Not only does it measure up to the great cars of the world with its luxury and quiet, it more than measures up when you introduce it to your favorite piece of road. The new Mazda 929, a high-performance luxury sedan, the Mazda way.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training, up to 12 months in advance, through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Well, if you folks are wondering why the clock kept running after the pass completion, you'll see Strzok get the ball to Langhorne, number 88, but Melvin Jenkins stops his forward progress inbounds. Look at the angle. He's knocking him out of bounds, but he had stopped his forward progress inbounds, and that's why the clock continued to run.
The Browns probably wasted another 15 seconds before finally calling a timeout. They're looking at the back judge, Pete Lisk, who was the quarterback of the New York Jets before one Joe Willie Namath arrived.
And a fine quarterback at the Penn State University in his collegiate days.
Played in Canada for a lot of years, was with the Broncos for a while. 3:42 left, fourth quarter. Seattle leading 16-7. Third down, 3 for the Browns. And Strzok had a scramble for a first down. Penalty markers down as he's upended at the 14 by Eugene Robinson. Browns trying to line up without a huddle. Well, 2 timeouts left.
Hey, I'm surprised. The clock has run. There's 8 seconds been off the clock, and the flag was thrown on the field. The official definitely has to do something with the clock because they wasted a good 8 or 10 seconds.
Now they're going to put some time back on, says Jerry Seaman.
Please reset the stadium clock to 3:30. Please reset the stadium clock to 3:30. There was no infraction on the play. Please reset the stadium clock.
There appeared to be a marker thrown.
3:30.
Well,
there was no infraction on the play.
When he says there's no infraction, even though a flag was thrown, the pass play turned into a running play. Originally, there was interference downfield. Strzok took the ball on the run, and so it negated the interference call.
So they'll add 10 seconds back to the clock. That'll give the Browns 3 minutes, 30 seconds. But is Cleveland using up too much time on this drive? Even if they get a score, it's doubtful they're going to get the ball back again.
I don't think we're going to be able to answer that question until later on. They need to get something on the board in the next minute anyway.
They've consumed a lot of time on this drive.
And had to use a timeout, too, and that's going to hurt them down the run, or down the stretch.
Don Strzok, who rescued the Dolphins so many times over the years. First down at the Seattle 15.
They just wasted another 12, 13 seconds.
Strzok with a short pass intended for Herman Fontenot, but it's incomplete with 3:07 left.
Hey, I'm surprised now. They wasted 20 seconds. Before Strzok actually had the ball in his hand, the clock went from 3:30 down to 3:10. That's 20 seconds they ran off the clock, and that's a major mistake on behalf of the Cleveland Brown offense.
So they used 23 seconds in that one play.
Sure, they should have been at the line of scrimmage. They should have already known while the officials were talking about things. The offensive Cleveland should have known what play they're going to run and already been up at that line of scrimmage. So when the officials started the clock again, hey, they could have gotten the ball snapped within 1 or 2 seconds instead of blowing 20 seconds, 23 seconds now. 3:07 left from 3:30.
Second down, 10 at the 15, 3:07 left. Strzok to Langhorne, incomplete at the 2-yard line. Terry Taylor covering for the Seahawks. This kind of sense of frustration here on the part of Strzok.
I don't know. I know Don personally, and so I know he's not too frustrated. He's in a hurry-up situation. I can sense that, but he's so cool. He knows what's happening. He's going to the right receiver each time. Here he just gets the ball in front of Langhorne a little bit, and it could have been a good catch. Tell you, you'd think Langhorne could come up with that ball if he extends himself a little bit.
How difficult is it for a receiver to adjust to 4 different quarterbacks? Is there that much difference in the way a guy throws the ball?
No, not if they're all right-handers. If you have a lefty, the spin on the ball is a little bit different, but other than that, there's no problem.
On third down, it's complete to Webster Slater trying to get into the end zone and stopped at the 6-yard line by Patrick Hunter. See if they picked up a first down. Very close. They're a little short, I believe. The Browns, it'll be 4th and 1 now. Cleveland will call a timeout, so they have 1 left. And the dog pound is upset. Now they're going to go for a field goal.
Yeah, that's a shame. That was a wasted timeout. The offense is just not clicking. They're a little confused. And I guess because of a new quarterback in the game, you can say Cleveland's offense is rusty, too.
And we also have a new holder now. Pagel, who is normally the holder, was injured in the first half, so Max Runniger, the punter, will now hold for Matt Barr. And remember, Barr had one blocked in the first half.
You see, this kicking team should have been on the field already. The offensive Cleveland, the coordinator, Marty Schottenheimer, somebody is supposed to already be thinking ahead and say, hey, if we come up 4th down and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and a foot, I want to take the 3 points now. So they should have been on the sideline, ready to go on the field as soon as they found out it wasn't a first down. They've wasted a lot of time in this last drive.
This will be a 23-yard attempt by Barr, and it is good. The Browns wanted to get more out of it. Now with only 2:40 left, as long as Seattle can keep running, it's highly doubtful the Browns are even going to get their hands on the ball again.
Well, they'll have the 2-minute warning to stop things. I'm sure the Browns will probably come up to the line of scrimmage and challenge the Seahawk offense more. I think they'll put the pressure on Chuck Knox or on Stauffer to decide to force him to throw the ball. They're going to say, hey, we're not going to let you run the ball. They should come up with 8 people on the line of scrimmage, 9 people on the line of scrimmage, take a chance, see if the Seahawks have enough nerve to let Stauffer go ahead to the passing game. I don't think they will.
Bengals leading the Jets 26-19. The Bengals trying to improve their record to 6-0. If they should win, the Browns should lose. This would be a big blow to Cleveland's hopes, trying to repeat as AFC champions. Bears leading the Lions 17-7.
You know, Mel, I like what Marty Schottenheimer said about must games. You know, he was asked this week about this being a must game, and he said, no, there are no such thing as a must game in October. I mean, if you lose in October in a must game, where do you go from there? So they've been 3-2 in each of the 3 seasons, last 3 seasons Schottenheimer's had this team, and a loss is not going to destroy him, that's for sure.
Do you agree with that, though?
With what?
The fact that there are no must games this early in the season.
I agree with the philosophy of if you lose that game, where do you go from there? Yeah, I wouldn't put a must-win situation on my team in October, especially early October.
But if they lose today, the Browns would be 3-3. If the Bengals won, they'd be 6-0. Good coverage by the Browns. Bobby Joe Edmonds dropped at the 12-yard line.
Bobby Joe forgot where he was. I mean, he was standing on the 3-yard line, and he thought he was in the end zone.
I couldn't figure out what it looked like. It acted like he wanted to try to fair catch it or something.
Oh, sure. He got mixed up on the punt earlier in the game when he fair caught it on the 7. Here he thinks he's in the end zone. Watch him. He'll stop. Look, touchback.
Whoop.
Great nod. Time to go.
So a break for the Browns, as Seattle's going to have terrible field position, but Cleveland's got a hold on this drive.
And listen to these fans. They're right down there by the dog pound.
Kurt Warner. Wrestled down by Clay Matthews with 2:23 left. The Browns have 1 timeout remaining.
Well, they may have just used it because the clock has stopped. Yes, the Browns did call timeout.
So they've used their last timeout. And it's a dog day afternoon so far here in Cleveland.
Well, these Cleveland fans, Schottenheimer, of course, going over the offensive plans right now, but that's the defensive coordinator, Adolph, for the Cleveland Browns. The fans here at Cleveland can be very difficult down that end of the field. And they're great fans. I'll tell you, they have the next 3 games here sold out. They're down to their 4th quarterback, and they have sellouts ahead of them already.
Don't forget, plenty of football action coming up. The second half, our doubleheader, Denver, San Francisco, John Elway, Joe Montana, Pittsburgh at Phoenix. The Dolphins, who found some defense playing the Raiders, and the Raiders are 9-0 against Miami on the West Coast.
Listen to those fans. This sounds a little bit like that Dome Stadium up in Seattle, Mel. You know, the folks up there are great fans as well, and they let you hear them too. I think this is where Chuck Knox is going to go into that no-count offense, huh?
It's very difficult to hear the snap count. Kurt Warner. Warner out to the 22-yard line. Clay Matthews makes the tackle for the Browns with 2:12 left. We approach the 2-minute warning. The Browns are out of timeouts. So that will be the final play before the 2-minute warning, and Marty Schottenheimer could use a little more time on that clock. It's 16-10 Seattle. Well, we're not quite to the 2-minute warning. 2:02 left as the Seahawks pick up a first down. So we're not quite to the 2-minute warning yet. 16-10 Seattle.
I'm frankly surprised that Cleveland doesn't have everyone up on the line of scrimmage trying to stop this running game.
And now we will officially take the 2-minute warning with Seattle ahead 16-10.
What does the 1-minute rate comparison mean to you as a company? There aren't too many people I know that speak for exactly 60 seconds and hang up. The real question is, how do you compare in the volume of calls that I have to make to the locations that I have to make for the amount of time and the time of day? And AT&T, when you consider the volumes, the locations, and the true talking time, AT&T is extremely competitive. I mean, that's why I have clients coming back.
This Olympic coin brings it all back. Carl Lewis.
Support our athletes with U.S. Olympic gold or silver commemorative coins. Help America shine. Offered by the U.S. Mint.
It's back. It's going. Gone. That's out of here.
This and every sunset is brought to you by Michelob, proud sponsors of night games everywhere. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob?
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back in Cleveland. Report card on the Seahawks. Kelly Stouffer throwing conservative short-range passes today. Effective, 9 for 16. Hit some key third-down passes. Warner approaching another 100-yard game. And the special teams, big key for the Seahawks.
I think it was brilliant coaching by the Seahawks, keeping Stouffer out of the tough passing situations. He didn't hurt the Seahawks. He's a mighty young quarterback without experience, and so the game plan of the Seahawks, at least offensively, has been excellent.
I'd like to thank our spotters today, John Betchcool and Pete Halbin, and our statistician Dave Montgomery for their help, as well as our producer Kenneth Roy Edmondson and our director Jim Cross. 2 minutes left. First down for the Seahawks at the 23. They lead 16-10. Warner needing 3 for a 100-yard game. Clay Matthews made the tackle for the Browns.
I'd be surprised if they hand the ball off anymore. I mean, Cleveland can't stop the clock right now. And if you can take 40 seconds with each play, the Seahawks should have the game wrapped up. I mean, Stauffer should just take the ball, go back, and take a knee. Don't risk a handoff at this point.
Browns, meanwhile, with severe quarterback problems. They lost Mike Pagel in the first half, so Don Strock becomes the starter. Steve Slayton, a rookie from Duke, who's in the inactive list, now becomes the backup. As they sign someone else. 2nd and 9. Here's Warner again. Matthews backs him for a loss. Loss of about 5 yards. That was a big play. Less than a minute remaining now. Mike Pagel, a separated shoulder. Don Strock has completed 12 of 21. The running game was effective for the Browns, and it's rare that they rush for close to 200 yards and lose a game.
Yeah, those yards, though, they could be negated so easily with turnovers. You know, a team can go up and down the field, but if they turn the ball over without scoring, you're going to lose the game.
4 turnovers today by Cleveland. 2 fumbles lost, 2 interceptions, and now Kelly Stauffer's just going to try to run out the clock. Browns have no timeouts left. So a disappointing loss for the Cleveland Browns. They lose another quarterback. You see their record drop to 3-3. The Bengals, the last report, leading the Jets, so they could improve their record to 6-0. The Browns now dropping to 3-3 on the season, and a big win for Seattle as they continue their dominance in this series. Final score from Cleveland: Seattle 16 and the Browns 10. We'll be right back. Chuck Knox and Don Strock saying hello, but the Seahawks come away with a victory.
It's the right here. Say it out loud. From the fans in the stands, the TV crowd, it's the Sandman making a big sound in the silver bull. It won't slow you down. So come on, it's the Coors Light. It's the right here now. Do the good life, yeah.
Like a lot of business people, I thought all insurance companies were the same. Believe me, there's a world of difference out there. I know, because thanks to the Hartford, we survived the kind of fire that would have wiped out most companies. But with the Hartford's people behind my business, we met payroll. We got back on our feet. So please, don't tell me all insurance companies are the same. They're not.
When you need us most, we're at our best. The Hartford.
The Seattle Seahawks have defeated the Cleveland Browns 16-10 before a crowd of over 78,000 this afternoon at Cleveland Stadium. The Seahawks capitalizing on 4 Cleveland turnovers. Mel Proctor along with Joe Namath back at Cleveland Stadium, and another tough day for the Browns, losing the 3rd starting quarterback of the season.
Yes, that's going to hurt him. Of course, Strock's a fine player, and he'll do well. But what I can't help but wonder is, had Lindy Infante been here, would that Brown offense have been more efficient, especially down the stretch?
It's the injured Mike Pagel, who suffered a separated shoulder in the first half. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, and after that 4 to 6 weeks, he has to get that arm back in throwing shape. You know, it might take 4 to 6 weeks to mend.
I guess the good news is that Bernie Kosar should be back in 2 to 3 weeks. Marty Schottenheimer said he didn't want to rush him, but he may have to now.
Yeah, it's a critical situation. I do have a lot of confidence in Strock playing well. I think he was rusty out there today, certainly, but he's a fine player, and I hate to see them rush Kosar. I don't think they'll take that chance. No, I think they'll bring Kosar back when he is originally scheduled to be back.
They've got another tough game next week against the Eagles.
A very tough game. The Eagles are a tough team with a good pass rush, and Strock can stand up to that pass rush some, but you got to have 2 quarterbacks, especially when you're playing against the Eagles. And if Strock goes down, then what do you do?
And a continuing education for Kelly Stauffer, the rookie from Colorado State.
Very impressed with Kelly Stauffer today. He hung in there in the pocket. He didn't throw the ball where he wasn't supposed to throw the ball. He never got antsy in the pocket. He never panicked. A brilliant coaching job, I think, by the Seattle Seahawks coaches, not forcing Stauffer into an uncomfortable situation, using the running game. The offensive line was magnificent of the Seahawks today.
I don't know what the final count on Kurt Warner was, but he was very close to 100 yards and ran effectively all day long. We'll be right back.
Staying on top is not easy. You have to give 110% and expect it from yourself, everyone, everything. Speed Stick deodorant gives 110%. That's its edge. Why? It has no alcohol, and alcohol evaporates. Speed Stick protection doesn't evaporate even after 24 hours. Glides on dry in just a few strokes. That's 110% protection.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
That's your edge.
By Mennen.
A newly imported car has arrived. It comes from a company with a reputation for quality and design. And the automotive press here has already begun to praise it for its performance, styling, and value. The interesting thing is that here is Japan. And the car they're importing is the Ford Taurus.
And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Seattle running back Kurt Warner, who carried 24 times for 97 yards and a touchdown. And Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. So not quite a 100-yard game, but certainly a very effective afternoon for Kurt Warner.
Oh, he has to be pleased with it. He did put it on the ground one time, the only fumble he had, but John L. Williams was right there to recover it. I mentioned the offensive line of the Seahawks doing such an excellent job today. I was surprised. I mean, Cleveland has such an excellent defense. I didn't think they'd be able to, the Seahawks would be able to control the ball on the ground as often as they did. And I was surprised with the outcome of the game. Such a good defense that Cleveland has, you'd figure that they would be able to stymie Stauffer. But I mentioned earlier the coaching of the Seahawks was excellent on the offensive side of the ball.
Both coaches were very concerned about special teams. I know Marty Schottenheimer, who was made a living as a special teams player, says the offense will come and go, so will the defense, but we'll strive for consistency on our special teams, and they didn't get it today.
No, they didn't get any consistency, and they did get hurt, too. McNeil that dropped the punt on the ground, and then ended up, Seahawks got it and ended up with 3 points. Bobby Joe Edmonds, of all people, one of the best return people in the game, forgets where he is on the field a couple of times. Fortunately, his team won, but he made a fair catch on the 7-yard line. He takes a kickoff on the 3-yard line. He thought he was in the end zone. Some strange things happen.
All right, Joe, let's...
Special deal installing cable TV. Big savings. Dollars and cents. Get you started on the best, on the most. It makes sense. You get news, you get sports, you get movies, all sorts. You get shows for the kids, the husband, the wife. You get songs, you get laughs, every interest in your life. More entertainment, more channels, more fun. More choice, more value. You can tape it on the run. Order now. Call the number that you see on your screen. Save money, and you'll see what we mean. Call 1-800-544-1300. Save up to $34.95 on cable TV installation. Plus, get 2-for-1 savings on HBO and Cinemax. Offer is limited. Call 1-800-544-1300 now. So for total entertainment, the place you should be is choosing from the channels on cable TV.
Almost live, no permission slip necessary, tonight at 6.
Earlier today in Cleveland, second quarter, 7-7 tie. Matt Barr with a field goal try. It's blocked by Jeff Bryan, and look at number 21, Paul Moyer. 65 yards. He rambles. He races. Okay, so he kind of walked, but the Seahawks win it, 16-10.
Seahawks post-game show with Tony Ventrella, Sam Adkins, and Lou Gellos. The post-game show is brought to you by Waltz Radiator, Muffler, and Brakes, by Still, the #1 value in chainsaws, and by Rainier, the only beer to drink around here. Now from Seattle, your hosts Tony Ventrella and Sam Adkins.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be back from Seoul. Sam's good to see you again, and Lou and all the guys. I got a silver and a bronze, but we'll talk about my fillings later. You guys had a win last week when I was gone, and a win today, a big one in Cleveland, really. The Seahawks were not favored. They weren't expected to win. What was the key to this one?
I think today, first of all, it's great to have you back. I bet you had a great time. But I think the key to today's ball game was the fact that it was a special teams win. And Chuck Knox said going into the year, in order to get to the championship game, special teams has got to provide 2 to 3 victories. And I think today was the first one. They provided 2 turnovers deep in the opponent's territory, and they capitalized on it, were able to score.
So far, 3-1 on the road, 4-2 overall, still lead the AFC Western Division. A big reason, too, is Kelly Stauffer. Second day starting at quarterback, no mistakes really at all. He wasn't spectacular, but he didn't make any mistakes. We will go to an interview earlier today with Kelly Stauffer.
Kelly, let's start from the beginning and talk about the fact that this team that everybody talks about winning at home a lot is 3-1 on the road so far this year.
I think we all have in our heads that to win in this league, you're going to have to win on the road. You have to come into places like Cleveland. I don't think it gets any more dramatic or violent or whatever difficult than it does here. And we realized to win consistently, you have to go out and win games like this. We knew it was going to be a knockdown, drag out, and from wire to wire, and we were going to have to play like that and just go out and smash them and see who was standing in the end.
This is one of those games where the ground game played a very major role.
And I think that's going to be consistent with us, because for us to get going, we have to everything has to come off our running game, and the offensive line pushes like they did today, and Kurt runs and John L. runs, we'll be just fine. And then we mix in some passing, and things are going to be good.
What was the key today, do you think, for the success of your team?
I think it's an attitude that even though things don't go perfect and perfectly planned or as they're planned all the time, you have to realize you got one more play coming up, and you have to think about that one and make the most out of it. And when they came down with the football right away and scored 7 points, it was a situation that you can't just go into the tank and go into a shell and think the game's over with. You got to fight it out and realize that as long as you keep fighting until the end, something good's going to happen.
And how about your comfort zone now? Your second start under your belt. I mean, this one, a major team.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. I need to get off to a faster start is the main thing, and I was just talking to Jeff, and what I need to work on is the mental part of the game, not preparation for the game in terms of the things, our game plan and stuff like that, but just the mental preparation where you go out and just react to things. I'm a little bit slow and a step behind things and just not letting it flow right away, and then halfway through the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, I felt that I could throw the ball anywhere and get things done like that, and that's how I have to come out and start, and it's just a matter of learning how you have to do that and how you have to prepare mentally to do that.
You know, Tony, though, the big thing was the fact that Kelly's had 2 starts, no mistakes, no turnovers, and he's doing the job that a rookie quarterback is supposed to do.
It's a confidence builder. At this time, it's slowly building. He's got the 2 wins, too, and that doesn't hurt. And I think he's going to be fine. We've had so many quarterback injuries this year. Dave Craig a couple weeks ago, Bernie Kosar. But look at this today, Sam, 5 more.
McMahon and Long both go down in the same ball game, both with knees. Mike Pagel separated his shoulder. Chris Chandler has a bruised sternum. And Cody Carlson broke his thumb.
Wow, there won't be any left. They'll be calling you, Sam. Let's take a look at what happened around the National Football League today. You just saw the end of the Denver game. They came back to beat San Francisco 16-13 on a field goal. Miami over the Raiders today, 24-14. The Saints are just great. They play here next week. They beat the Chargers 23-17. This must have been a great game to watch. Oilers 7 and Kansas City 6. In Cincinnati, the Bengals remain the only undefeated team. As we take a look first at the AFC West, there you see the Seahawks atop Denver by 1 game, the Raiders, San Diego, and Kansas City rounding out the AFC Western Division. The Jets and the Bengals. Bengals win at 36-19. They came from behind to beat the Jets by that score. Let's take a look. The Jets raced out to a 9-0 lead, but Boomer Esiason rallied the Bengals first. He fired a 61-yarder to Eddie Brown. That cut the Jets' lead to 9-6. After tying the game at 12, Esiason moved Cincinnati in front. A 30-yarder to Tim McGee. The Bengals went on to beat the Jets 36-19. The Bengals are 6-0. In the NFL, the Colts lose again. The Bills beat them today. Seahawks have Indianapolis first-round draft pick because of the Fred Young trade. That pick is starting to look pretty darn good. Former Husky Chris Chandler was knocked out of the game. He has a bruised sternum, as Sam told you a few minutes ago. But Gary Hogeboom picked up the slack, fired a 39-yard touchdown pass to Clarence Verdon, and the Colts raced out to a 17-0 lead. But the Bills came right back. Jim Kelly to Andre Reed. They turned a 17-0 deficit into a 34-23 win over the Colts today. Steelers and Cardinals. Phoenix, surprising team, wins at 31-14. In Milwaukee, the Packers got their first win of the year, beating the Patriots. Doug Flutie worked magic for the Patriots last week. Magic did not strike twice. Green Bay quarterback Don McCaskey went around the right side. That started a rout. The Packers get their first win of the year as they blow out the Patriots 45-3. The Rams over the Falcons 33-0. The Vikings eke one out over the Bucks 14-13. The Bears 5-1 beat the Lions 24-7. Redskins over the Cowboys 35-17. And that's the way it looked today around the NFL. The Seahawks winning. You see the Monday night game, Giants against the Eagles tomorrow night. Seahawks winning 16-10. We're going to come back with more of the post-game show after this brief timeout. We'll be right back.
Yeah,
If your car could choose, it would choose one of Walt's 21 radiator and muffler shops for its exhaust system, cooling system, and brake system needs. It knows that you're getting only experienced personnel using the highest quality replacement parts to make your car feel like a toy again. Walt's Radiator and Muffler. Hassle-free with a guarantee.
The world's fastest race cars run around 200 miles per hour at about 9,000 RPMs and require a major overhaul between runs. The Steel 028 Super Chainsaw is designed and tested to run just as hard, day after day. The precision engineering of a fine race car, the durability of steel. It's specially priced right now, so race down to your nearest Steel dealer.
Save $70 on the dependable 028 Super at these Steel dealers.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for Golden Lights. It's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac night. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Players interviewed on the Seahawks postgame show receive a gift certificate from Alvin Goldfarb Jeweler in downtown Bellevue. Alvin Goldfarb, his name is your assurance of quality. Or a gift from Casio, makers of the popular TV 400, a 2-inch color handheld TV. Casio, a world leader in consumer electronics.
You know, this one was never really over until it was over, as Yogi once said. 16-10, the final score. The Seahawks had to scramble all the way. Defense helped. The special teams was your key to the defense, and a big note there goes to, a big note of thanks goes to Mel Jenkins for the job he did. We've got an interview with Melvin right now.
Well, we get a chance to visit with you a lot lately because of the way you've been playing, and you had a couple of key plays today. What happened on the interception, first of all? Because that really took the wind out of their sails.
Well, first of all, I knew it was going to try to come my way because they really hadn't tried me all day, and they tried to lure me to sleep, and we was in the cover 6, and the receiver ran like a stutter. Thought I was going to break on the out, but I played the ball well, and I looked up, the ball was coming, and all I thought about then was making that reception. So,
and you did.
And I did.
What was it about your defense compared to their offense that changed things? They came out and marched right down the field, and they seemed to have an ability to move the ball, but they couldn't get it into the end zone.
Well, the thing was, we didn't want to give up anything big. You know, if we keep them out the end zone, you know, they'll eat up the clock, and we get them inside the 20, and that's what we, you know, defense usually gets tougher. And, you know, we did a good job today in the plus 20 today.
Were you concerned early on the fact that some of your teammates in the secondary were having to make tackles against their running attack? They were bursting through there?
Well, I really wasn't concerned about it because, you know, the further the game went on, I knew we had to get better somewhere. You know, early, you know, you can't say, well, come on, let's go. You know, that's too early. You know, because the game, you got to play 60 minutes. And, you know, the defense came back, and, you know, we pulled together, and they did a good job.
You know, for all the talk about this team winning in the Kingdome and what a tremendous home field advantage that is, your team's now 3-1 on the road.
Yeah, 3-1 on the road. That's good. Now, you know, go take this show to Seattle next week in the Kingdome. You know, so we had to get ready to prepare for Buffalo next week. And it's, you know, they're a tough team, so another long week.
Okay, Melvin, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back with some comments about next week's opponent, the Saints, in just a minute.
The sun is out, the rain is gone. We don't waste a sunny day. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no. The only beer to drink round here is red.
Charles Bronson is back with a deadly assignment.
What is it? An avenging angel.
Two families are wiping each other out. No one is talking.
Do you have enemies? Someone who wishes... What's happening?
No one will listen.
What do you care if two crazies kill each other?
And it's up to him to stop the madness. Charles Bronson stars in Messenger of Death, rated R.
Messenger of Death starts Friday at a theater near you.
Knocking and pinging. It can bring out the animal in anyone. So we developed high-octane Chevron Supreme and added the cleansing power of Technotin. Now you'll be free to go without a moment's hesitation. Chevron, we fuel your freedom.
Guests on the Seahawks postgame show receive Rockport shoes courtesy of Eddie Bauer. Rockport's exclusive walk support system combines comfort, support, and great looks. Or a gift certificate from Union Bay Sportswear, an American fashion leader. Union Bay Sportswear, a division of Seattle Pacific Industries.
If you're coming in from sailing or taking a walk or whatever and missed all the football today, the Seahawks won 16-10 in Cleveland against the Browns. The record is now 4-2. Steve Largent did catch a pass. His streak is alive at 158 games. What about the Saints? They're here next week.
They are here next week, and how appropriate. Mike Tice will be playing in his 100th ball game as a Seahawk. His brother plays for New Orleans Saints, and we'll be here to see it.
That's right, and the Saints are a tough opponent at home. You said a lot of home games the next few weeks.
There's 5 of the next 7 ball games are in the Kingdome, so the Seahawks have now, they're 3-1 on the road. So now they should feel the comforts of the Kingdome.
Well, they're 1-1 at home, though. So 16-10, the final score. For Sam Atkins and Lou Gallows, I'm Tony Ventrella. We'll see you all a week from Sunday.
Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.